I recently played the new Lords of the Fallen, which I thought was fine. The tutorial, though, did make me want to scream. You couldn't walk 2 feet without being assaulted by text and sometimes a forced pause. By the time you got the 6th tutorial message, you've already forgotten the first 3. Oh my gosh. It did get me thinking, though, what makes a good tutorial? Especially in a Souls-like, where the difficulty is part of the reason you're there in the first place. So today we're looking at all of the Soulsborne Elden Rings died twice tutorials to see what they get right, what they get wrong, and why they likely are the way they are. So how do you judge a tutorial? Well, I think a tutorial can accomplish a couple of specific things. First, it should effectively teach you the controls and basic mechanics needed to play the game. Not all of the mechanics, that would be insane, just the ones you need to get going. Second, it can enhance the way you are introduced to the world of the game and serve the narrative. And finally, third, a tutorial can teach you something about the design philosophy of the game as a whole. FromSoftware is typically pretty great at this one. With our grading criteria now established, let's start with the remake of the one that started it all. I'm ready to get out of Boneville, please. Standard attack, R1. So they're just saying, like, free aim. Interesting. Guard, yeah, I'm not sure we're gonna learn how to lock on. My man's got physics. High five, high five, high five. Oh, hello. Use item, so it wants me to use a little grass that I just picked up. Fine. Hold direction and tap to vault. Which is something, if I remember, you do like 3 times in this entire game. It's so weird that it's even a mechanic at all. Alright, is this one backstab, hopefully? Oh no, it's roll, and backstep and roll. So I wasn't even supposed to know how to do that yet. Gosh, those animations are so good. Alright, what do we got here? So we just learned strong attack. Parry and riposte, interesting. Alright, let's give this a go. Alright. Oh, these animations are so good. I forgot how good they were. We'll just backstab. That's probably easier. Alright, what do we got now? Oh, I cheated. I two-handed as he got up before it told me how to two-hand. Okay. Great camera angle. Look at how good this game looks. It's such a shame that this thing is locked on the PS5. Alright, I guess it's boss time. Now, this is definitely a boss that you are supposed to lose to. Man, the butt physics are phenomenal. There we go. Alright, I mean, definitely a boss you're supposed to lose to. Really manageable if you're familiar with how these games work in the combat. But this game does a good job of making the tutorial worth your while. Like, one, it's skippable. So you get some stuff just by attempting it, and then if you actually beat the boss, you get way more stuff. So I don't know, I think that's a smart way to do a tutorial, and then, you know, here's your cutscene. A very good cutscene, I might add. The classic "you died" screen. So, like, it does also confirm that death is just a part of the normal gameplay loop in these. Like, death is not a terrible thing. It forces death, which I don't mind, but it also gives you a win if you can do it. So, good stuff. Demon's Souls has a solid tutorial. It teaches basic controls and mechanics without slowing the player down. It's a fairly accurate representation of the separate linear worlds you'll be in throughout the game. The tutorial boss has a lot of health, but it's reasonable after the first attempt, and as I said, this tutorial tells you from the start, you are going to die. And that's okay, it's just how you learn. And the fact that it is skippable is a really player-friendly move for those that replay these games often. Now, I remember this being an extremely well-designed starting area. Okay, attack. We've got strong attack. We've got dash. Do we have a real weapon? Man, look how washed out and muddy this thing looks. Honestly, I think this is a brilliant piece of game design because it is the only one in which the boss that you're supposed to die to, who you can see up there, and the tutorial boss that you beat, it's the only time they're the same one. And it gives you like the sense of challenge and the sense of overcoming that challenge within the tutorial area. And I think that's pretty great. All right, we've got our, you should roll through these. He already left, it's fine. I'm assuming this is our sword then. Your first fog gate. What a moment.
Oh, and this.
Thank you. Good example of the design philosophy of the entire game right here with the shortcut back. The combat is so slow. So this is so smart. So he originally was starting like on top of there, jumped all the way down, was gonna kick your butt unless you know where to go. But now we can just kind of enter. Ow. And goodbye. It's just very smart. Like, it's the shortest one, but it's also kind of just the best one. This first section of Dark Souls 1 is like the best designed section of any game almost ever. So we're just gonna end it like this. Dark Souls has an amazing tutorial, not just for a Souls-like, but for any video game. I put it right up there with the tutorial areas in the last two Zelda games. It teaches basic mechanics well enough with easy practice enemies, its tutorial boss is a fun evolution of the Demon's Souls tutorial boss, and as mentioned, you also get the loop of dying, learning, and overcoming a challenge from the same boss right from the start. It's also a perfect slice of the overall world design with a surprising amount of verticality and shortcuts looping back to familiar save points. And finally, it is narratively relevant, as the tutorial shows your escape from the undead prison, which enables you to start your real journey. Alright, Dark Souls 2. Anybody who's ever been in a fight knows that this is the best strategy for doing extra damage. Holding your fists together and swinging them. Isn't there like a secret item and a giant hippo man up here? Well, I almost died in the tutorial. I don't even know what happens, because normally you just run straight in, right? You know what? Let's go die to that guy. I'm genuinely curious. Wow, he's smart. That 16 damage is pretty intense. Oh. Iframes! They work very differently in Dark Souls 2, I forgot. Okay, so it does just start you back here. Oh yeah, Yeah, lots of weird cutscenes in this game.
An undead has come to play.
I think this was like FromSoft's only attempt at realistic lip syncing. I kind of respect that they wanted to do something a little different with it. I think you can kill all of these women for human effigies, but we're gonna leave them be. We're not monsters. Oh yeah, I forgot. What happens if you light all these? Doesn't something special happen? Wait, was there any instruction? Oh yeah, they're on the tablets this time. Wait, is this backstab? Yep, that makes so much sense. Like, I keep expecting to hear like a Zelda da-da-da-da-da-da-da jumping attack. I always forget that that's a thing. This feels like a classic opportunity for FromSoft jank. I'm trying to do the tree skip from Dark Souls 3. Nope. Okay, we'll leave it. Interesting, so you can't do that. No, there's gotta be a way to get in there, right? So I guess the torch thing is a mystery you can start, but not solve. I mean, I could totally just walk around him. There's more than enough space. Alright, different character, but we're back. So guess what? We get to do everything again. Oh, he's alive. I forgot that that's how this worked. And you have to wait until his get-up animation's done, which is very weird. Aha! Okay. This should be the last one. Hey, you're new. Sweet. Great mystery, totally worthwhile. Honestly though, like, I'm making fun of it, but I really like the idea of having like a secret goal and something to accomplish in your tutorial. Alright, one last thing. Let's see where this takes us. Oh! Do we have a pursuer fight? Pursuer down as well. Like, that's cool though, that there was a boss fight down here, and like I almost didn't even come down here, and there was a little mini boss fight. Like, that's kind of awesome. Now let's see where this goes. I've never done this. Although I do appreciate that this casket is actually a boat, unlike Elden Ring. The nature of your being has... Dark Souls 2 is the only FromSoftware game where the nature of your being can change in the tutorial area. Where did I leave off in this playthrough? Am I the boss of the game? We might as well kill the boss of the game while we're here. Okay. Just riveting stuff Dark Souls 2 is. And we're done. Much like everything about Dark Souls 2, this tutorial is kind of weird. It's way more experimental than the rest, and not all of it works, which somehow does make it tonally consistent with the rest of the game. Having the character creator inside the tutorial does enhance the role-playing aspect of the game and make your specific character feel slightly more important than it would otherwise. And it is also cool that the tutorial has secrets and gives you a reason to come back. But to be fair, you can actually say that about every FromSoftware tutorial other than Demon's Souls. Overall, not the best tutorial, but it did change the nature of my being, and that is something. Oh my gosh, the frame rate's so bad, it almost makes you nauseous after playing games that run at like kind of a silky smooth, you know, at least 30, if not 60 frames per second. Your instructions for the game. Seek pale blood to transcend the hunt. So that's how you get out. You gotta seek the pale blood. Got it. Easy, clear, 100% we know what we're doing, right? I just tried to two-hand my weapon like that's a thing in this game. Alright. And that's it. That is the tutorial. Gotta love the Bloodborne. Now, I did always think it's weird that, like, Bloodborne doesn't even really teach you how to equip a weapon, which is bizarre, but this was my first FromSoftware game, and I do remember being incredibly confused by how to equip a weapon in this game. And then you come back with a weapon and you kick its butt. Were there really no other tutorial things? Molotov cocktails. So they do. They kind of give you, like, the basics of everything you need right off the bat, which is nice. Oh yeah, you also get to hear the first boss and see the first boss arena right across. Good design. You have your first lantern, which takes you back to the winter stream. Like, you quickly learn that shields are, like, pointless. Get another switch, loops back on itself. Yeah, they teach you crowd control immediately. I've already learned so much, and they didn't have to tell me anything. That's insulting. There we go. More Molotovs in case you burn a couple like I just did. Ooh, a torch. Nice. Get my free bullets. And then, I mean, I think that kind of first loop is the tutorial. Bloodborne's initial loop through Yharnam is an absolute delight, and one of the best designed areas in the game. It's not a traditional tutorial, though. There are a couple of signs on the ground revealing basic controls, but the game intentionally tells you almost nothing in service of the narrative and the vibe. Most FromSoftware games start with a big cinematic, featuring narration that gives you the background of the world and your role in it. Not this game. Bloodborne hurls you headfirst into a Victorian werewolf nightmare, only to pull the rug out from under you again when the game twists itself into a celebration of cosmic horror. Bloodborne's opening area forgoes an instructive tutorial to create the spooky, unrelenting vibe that is carried throughout the entire game. And you can call me a FromSoftware apologist, but I'm here for it. Okay, I guess I'm ready for another Dark Soul. Wow, so it actually gives you, like, control the camera with the right stick. Something it hasn't done in any other game. What else we got? Backstep and roll. Move and dash. Man, rolling feels so good in Dark Souls 3. Turn back. Wait, is that a regular message, or? The game is actually telling you to turn back right there. That's so funny. I kind of love that. Hey! I mean, that's a really fun and interesting enemy to put in a tutorial area, honestly. Like, it really does. I feel like that enemy exists here to teach you patience and to just teach you to watch. Because that enemy is really not that threatening if you just sit and watch for a minute. You know, like as stupid as that sounds, it's true though. Like, so much of these games is just being patient and watching before you just go in swinging. All right, so we got the jump tutorial here. Oh, that's so smart. To like have this coffin that you can jump on to get this item. Oh, yeah, to have this coffin right here. And I said oh because I pressed the wrong button. I'm thinking Elden Ring. All right, we learn a plunge attack. So you're actually supposed to come up here like that. I love how every tutorial has a crossbow guy to teach you how to dodge. That's so funny. I've never noticed that before. Oh, I thought I had firebombs out. And that's it. It's a really good tutorial boss. The only reason I can deduct points is because when it goes into phase 2, it is legitimately difficult to see what's happening. The amorphous blob is not the easiest thing in the world to track. But, I mean, it's a really good boss. Again, it teaches you to get into a rhythm with these guys. It teaches you to be patient. It teaches you to dodge through attacks. It teaches you that you can't just block everything. Oh, open menu. That's actually a really good tutorial note that we haven't seen before. There we go. Another important lesson. If it looks like you can do something, it's worth trying. Did you remember that to upgrade your flasks, you don't do it at the maiden, you do it at your blacksmith? That's so weird. Dark Souls 3 has a great tutorial area, and it needs one, as the game lets you know right away that this is not your dad's Dark Soul. It's much faster and significantly raises the minimum skill level required to complete it when compared to its predecessors. The tutorial gives you basic instruction and mechanics with opportunities to practice, but also features a more difficult crystal lizard that can teach you a variety of lessons. One lesson I didn't mention while playing is that you can always leave a tough enemy for later, and here the game explicitly writes that out for you on the ground. Udex Gundyr has 2 phases. The first is much better than the second, but the second does hammer home how differently Dark Souls 3 plays and what it demands from players. The tutorial is also designed to show the massive graphical step forward that the franchise took, even if the layout of the area itself isn't a great representation of things to come. Well, Gale ate the rest of the Dark Souls, so let's jump to... Jump? Oh, that's kind of Elden Ring style. Okay. Oh, that was a good wall peek, I think. Stealth, nice.
That shinobi at the bottom of the well. We didn't shackle him, restrain him, nothing. That doesn't worry anybody?
Like, this tutorial is so much more narratively focused. Oh, weird. I forgot that it doesn't just auto-grab ledges. I forgot you had to actually, like, press grab. Sweet. Oh, this game's so good. I've now remembered. Deflection. Took a couple tries, we got there. Okay. He's so slow. Alright. He's got one more, right? Okay. I do love the movement in this game, though. It's so fast and good. Oh, that little guy's terrifying. All right, Kuro, come on, let's go.
You face Genichiro Ashina.
Oh, I don't have the Makiri counter yet. Fair. I kept trying to Makiri counter, even though I definitely don't have it yet. That's such an important move. I mean, pretty bare bones tutorial. But the smart thing that they do is they give you this guy up here. And this guy is pretty great. So that guy just lets you practice the mechanics, which is smart and good. It's just fun being back here. Oh, it's so good. I forgot. Man, do I miss the grappling hook. Do I wish Elden Ring had a grappling hook? The answer is obviously yes. That'll work. Yeah. Sekiro is the only Souls-adjacent FromSoftware game where the protagonist is an actual character, which allows the tutorial to serve a greater narrative purpose. That's not an attack on the storytelling in the other games. I really enjoy how FromSoftware is typically more interested in telling the stories of fallen civilizations and broken worlds. Sekiro is an intentional departure from the norm, both mechanically and narratively, in ways that are different but still really good. The tutorial teaches the new mechanics in a familiar way, and the tutorial area is just an area that you can come back to later and fight much more interesting and difficult enemies. What sets this tutorial apart from the others is that it introduces relationships that are really important throughout the entire game. You meet Lord Kuro, your master, who is a little boy that you later find out is the reason your character can't die. Instead of a traditional tutorial boss, you get to face Genichiro, one of the primary antagonists in the game that you get to face off against multiple times. Even if you beat him, he chops your arm off, and you get a prosthetic that grants you new abilities and changes the way the game is played. You then meet other characters and get a little bit of an extended tutorial with the new mechanics. It might not be the most outstanding tutorial, but I do appreciate how it feels different than the others, and is more important for the story. It's also the only game that I played through all the way to the end while assessing these tutorials, so that's something. Now it's finally time for... You know what, I like to light roll. Let's get rid of this excess weight. Now, we've got another obvious boss you're supposed to lose to, and I kind of like the way Elden Ring does it, in that you put the boss you're supposed to lose to before the tutorial even begins. I just think that's smart and helpful. Alright, I need to start paying attention if I'm gonna beat this guy. I don't know why you're getting all crazy on me now that we're right at the end. There we go. Down goes the not tutorial boss. And we get punished anyway. That's a good troll. It's good. The tutorial is right down here. Like right away, you learn, oh, I can fall a pretty far distance without getting hurt. Wait, I wasn't even looking. Was there something on the ground to teach me something? I just really wanted to backstab that guy. No, wow, so there really is like nothing. Wait a second. Oh, okay, there's my I had to turn him back on, but there's a tutorial. So you run into the first thing that you gotta jump over, and you jump. All right, we got dash. Oh my gosh, this is such a better way. It's such a better way. You pick up a material, it freezes the screen super quick, but you don't want to freeze the screen too much or it gets super obnoxious like Lords of the Fallen did. All right, we've got our first shield guy. Or is this... Oh no, he can't attack, okay. All right, so we got the shield break. Oh, cool. Okay, so that's to teach you to switch lock-ons. Honestly, I have not seen this since the first time I played this game. Like, right upon release. This is very kind of fun to actually look at the tutorials. Skills! Okay, so this is to teach us this. They've started... We got a jump attack. Wow, that guy had no poise. A lot of times it feels like they have an area and then they're like, let's push some tutorial in versus let's think about what we want to teach players and then build the area around it, which is definitely what it feels like here. Then we've got our tutorial boss. Oh my gosh. I guess you weren't supposed to backstab him. Hold on. Let's, That's more like it. Look at that damage. We're getting them now. Hold on. I forgot I couldn't backstab him with this. Hold on. Yeah! Rickety shield OP. Like, it's obviously just a regular enemy, but I think it's a perfectly fine tutorial boss. Oh, here it is. Yeah, we didn't even look at this coming in. Cave of Knowledge lies below. So it tells you to go down there for knowledge. Good stuff. Proud of you, Elden Ring. I think this is also a brilliant way to start the game, even after you get out of the Cave of Knowledge. Like, you come out, you get it immediately. Oh, this is not like any other FromSoft game I've played before. Huge, expansive, I can go anywhere I can see. You can see the cauldron where the giants are, like, everything's in view. But you've also got this guy. If you aggro him and then get him to, like, really want to follow you, he actually kind of tries to tear this place apart, which is extremely cool. And that's how the game tells you you're going to hit things that you are not ready for. And I think that's brilliant. That's so smart. Elden Ring is a special game. The mechanical variety is insane. There's no way a tutorial could prepare you for the number of viable ways to play, which is probably why the tutorial feels less significant than in other FromSoftware games. Elden Ring gives you the forced death to a hard boss before the tutorial, and the tutorial itself is optional, which is kinda nice, especially since this might be the most replayable FromSoftware game due to the variety. Sure, the tutorial boss Rick is a joke, but that's kind of the point. Plus, you have the intimidating tree sentinel as soon as you enter the open world. Narratively, there's one cutscene that's hyper-relevant where you meet your future best friend Torrent, but not much else. Structurally, I think the underground, more claustrophobic tutorial intentionally contrasts the open world you enter afterwards. This tutorial is more focused on gameplay mechanics, and here that feels appropriate. Well, I think that's all for this video. That's a lot of tutorials and all of Sekiro. Maybe next time we'll compare all of the Souls final bosses or something. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Here is the obligatory request to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.